Hello and welcome. Today I'm excited to be talking to Scott Bornstein, the world's foremost memory training expert. You know how having a bad memory at the wrong time can make others think that you're unprofessional, unprepared, and even uncaring. That's particularly an issue in a business sense when it undermines your credibility, customer confidence, and trust. And coming up to the festive season, I suppose, Scott, that's a really important time to be doing the right thing in a social setting. So in today's interview, we've got the world's foremost memory training expert to business leaders and their companies across 50 companies, Scott Bornstein. And that's Born like baby and Stein like Einstein. So Scott will explain how he helps executives and sales professionals use his powerful memory systems to meet their most critical business goals, increase personal effectiveness, and win more sales. If you feel overwhelmed by how much there is to know and manage every day, then listen, learn, and grow your memory power with Scott Bornstein. It's my pleasure to welcome Scott to today's Adrenalin Shot. Hi, Scott.
Hi, Debbie. No, I'm just kidding. Don, how are you?
Good example of remembering names. Thank you for that. It's a great start to the day. Now, look, I'm absolutely fascinated. I better start the clock because I get carried away here. It's very, very easy for me to do that. So let me actually start the clock and I'll pop it up on the monitor here so that I can see it. And at the same time, we've got so much technology here that I'm going to start my phone at the same time so that we know exactly when our 5 minutes is up. All right, so we're going there. Now, Scott, I'm fascinated. What led you to becoming the leading business memory training expert?
Well, actually, I had the great fortune to be born into a family of memory experts, and my father started the first memory training company in the United States in
Ah,
1952. So we've traveled the world, worked with over 1 million people, teaching and training them in these systems. And my opportunity to grow into it was right out of college, and through my father and the introductions to groups like Tech and Young Presidents Organization, had the pleasure to carry it forward and show them how to connect the dots from the personal to the professional side.
mm.
Uh, Especially as the holiday season's upon us. I had one tech member share his goal was to learn all the names of the employees for the company holiday party, and he wanted to know the names of the spouses and children as well. And there was about 85 members in his business, and plus many more of the family members. So we set up a system. He blew everybody away, didn't tell him that he was going to do it. And the first day back at work after the holidays, he gets a call from one of his employees who said, when I got up this morning, my wife said, not only will you be on time, you'll be early, because not only does he know you, he knows me, and he knows everybody in the house.
Now, did he know the dog's name?
If it were important, we would have added that too. But I think what happens at a certain point, people suddenly have this belief that you are the master, you know it, you're the expert, and that's really the importance of memory. And it is the one trainable skill. It's your greatest asset, and frankly, proof of your success is really a result of your strong memory in certain areas. And for some, they just find that the amount there is to manage has become so overwhelming that they've lost confidence and they've actually lost practice, because technology is doing all the remembering for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, who remembers even their own phone number these days? It's just not something that we do, is it?
Right.
And I'm sure we've all been in a situation at a social setting, as you say, like the holiday season, where you get introduced to maybe 4 or 5 people in a group, and within, you meet the last person, and before you know it, you've forgotten the first person's name already.
Exactly. And so really all this is just a matter of is distraction. We all are living in this interrupted state, constantly going
Mm.
from task to task. And consequently, we don't quite know how to refocus. And that's what I do is I show the executive or the high performer really how to sharpen the working memory power. And essentially, you have short-term memory and long-term memory. But what is really important is the part of the brain that really stores the information in the short term. That's your working memory, and the ability to hold multiple things at once for longer periods of time. So by training yourself, just like the muscle in your body, the brain is like a muscle. We can strengthen it with certain practices and activities that develop and that not only the execution, but create a hardwired behavior that lasts a lifetime.
So how would you say your systems actually help people in a business sense then, Scott?
Right. So from the, say for the sales person or the manager, it's being able to know what the proper questions are to ask a particular client in order to solve their problems. And in effect, we give them these sales scripts, but they can't quite remember it as accurately as we'd like them to. So I teach them a formula for being able to organize the information and be able to link it and relate it and remember it when they need it. So part of that is just showing them how to build the fundamentals. There's really only three types of memory systems, and it's all built on the simple idea that our 80% of our brain is devoted to sighted experience. And so visual memory is our strongest sense. So let's use it as much as possible. And literally, it's just about how we tell stories, and that's really the key. And this is a favorite thing we do now in business is we try to encapsulate stories about our successes from our client's perspective, because we know that others will hear those stories and say, I identify with that. That's me. And then they think, oh, you can solve my problem just like you solved theirs. So I show companies how to take those stories, take those messages, take their goals, whatever their sales process is, and embed them and bake them into the training so they learn it and they know it well right away.
Yeah, and that's a great system. And I remember when you presented at my tech group that we ended up with quite a travel story, I think we used, where we went from Paris to somewhere else because, as you say, it's joining those dots that make people find it really easy to remember and associate various things to it.
Correct. And for example, and for those who are watching, this would be a great exercise for you. The Greeks 2,000 years ago established the principles, and location is the principal methodology where it creates a trigger in your mind, a place where you can kind of have that bookshelf where you can park it and know it and see it and then recall it. And so,
guess what? That's our time's up.
Wow.
Can you believe that? That's what happens. You you get carried away, and it's so exciting listening to you that I'm going to have to interview you again, Scott, because you've got so much more to tell us. I know you have.
Right.